I'm reshooting this video because I think that the other one was too much information. Since going public with this channel on my journey, along with my partner's journey into Kimbanda, I received some criticisms from people that were unhelpful but not entirely incorrect. In that Kimbanda is not a religion. It's considered witchcraft or black magic known as Macumba. Although I sort of beg to differ with the connotations, and black magic isn't always evil, and I will explain why that is in the structure a little later in this video. But the religion which Kimbanda comes from is Umbanda or Candomble. And in these religions in Brazil of Umbanda and Candomble, they use the saints that they syncretize with the Orisha and at times with the Nkisi, because these religions are a combination of the spiritual practices from the Congo region, where Palo also comes from, European witchcraft, indigenous spiritual practices, and Christianity, as well as spiritualism, espiritual, spiritismo, sanse. The use of the ancestor altar comes from Kardec, who brought it. The European and heavily Christian practices of seances and mediumship to this area in South America, and I've never claimed that it's anything but that. People said that someone taught me a bunch of Palo. Well, that's not entirely incorrect, but it's not entirely correct either. I talked to the founder of my house, and he was originally a Palero, but then went to Brazil in the 80s and learned a family tradition of Kimbanda that was heavily on the ceremonial magical side. So that explains why it's not the traditional or the more well-known practices of Kimbanda or Umbanda and Candomble. So what Umbanda and Candomble do that Macumba or Kimbanda doesn't do is Kimbanda only works with the Ishu and the Pomba Gira and doesn't work with the Nkisi or any of the other Christian ideas. So they consider Kimbanda black magic because of the rejection of the Christian beliefs. So I don't consider that evil. I don't consider that some weird perverse form of Satanism. Brazil and South America is heavily Catholic, and they still have these ideas. So that's why this spiritual house drew me so much, because I get to work with the Nkisi, Pomba Gira, and the Ishu, but none of these Christian beliefs that are in the religions of Umbanda and Candomble. And the definition of a religion is just a group of spiritual practices and beliefs held by a group of people. And so there are a large group of people actually that practice in this house and practice this house way. Whether or not these people are now going to be accused of starting their own Kimbondic cult or religion doesn't bother me, because originally all religions started this way, and Kimbanda religion is supposed to be a living, breathing tradition, which changes. And the techniques work. I don't feel like I have to justify this anymore. This was just a video about what Kimbanda technically and traditionally is. People in our house are initiated into Palo, Palo Lima Corte, more specifically, or other form of Palo, like Palo Mayombe, or Candomble or Umbanda. So that's currently the way it is set up. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that the Kiumba, where Quimbanda might have got its name from a few authors I'm reading, both on Palo and Quimbanda, is that Kiumba meant a skull. And these traditions of Congo sorcery and working with the dead and necromancy work with bones a lot, and they work with the skull in preparation after being initiation to put it into an nganga, which is a spirit pot. And in Palo, one of the levels is Tata Nganga, and it's sort of like your body is a temple. The idea that your body is the earth or the pot for the spirit inside, so that the priest or the priestess is looked upon as an nganga as well. There are different names for priests and priestesses in Umbanda or Candomble. I'm not going to get into it at this time. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Laroye.